released before 8-bit?
Because it was developed for the 16-bit platforms. It was because the Master System wasn't, from my recollection, the Master System wasn't really big in America. And they wanted to, when they had the Genesis come out, and their whole sales pitch was making their arcade ports home ports, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, well, we need to make longer form games if we want to compete with Nintendo, who already does that and has other developers do that for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they came up with Sonic. So, and it's also funny because, how I was telling you in the car how Sonic games, their technology and their programming is actually really, really solid?
Mm-hmm.
It's because this might just be anecdotal, but it's because Yuji Naka wasn't a game designer or developer. He was a programmer. And he came up with the reason why Sonic does anything.
Okay. We're not recording that, are we? Because you got to save that for the juicy bits.
No, we're recording.
No, this can't be in the intro. No, we're spoiling.
Spoilers for our own show.
Oh, man.
Okay. Wait, what's my gain at? Okay, good. All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're live with episode 8, and there's actually going to be no replay on this because we thought about it long and hard. Heyo.
We felt we were very succinct in the last episode, so we're moving on to our next episode. And just so everybody knows, hey, I'm John,
and I'm James.
This is Games with John and James, as my co-host explained. This is episode 8, and let's just jump right into it. What's the topic today?
Must go fast. Pew pew. I'm Sonic Heroes.
I immediately regret ever passing the mic to you at all.
So, you heard me do that just because this is an episode I feel has been long in the making for John here. We talked about at length what we wanted our next episode to be, and we always have a lot of ideas throughout the week of, hey, which route we want to go with what we share with you guys. And we kind of had this amalgamation of ideas that turned into a mini-series we're going to do for you. And this is going to be the first episode in that mini-series. And it is all about a franchise. And today's franchise is Sonic the Hedgehog.
This will be my magnum opus. And just to give you the most optimal clickbaity title, we're calling this mini-series Fallen Franchises. Because when we do an episode on, Kingdom Hearts, you'll be like, no, wait, no, it's still good.
Wait, why would you say I would say it was good? Kingdom Hearts 3 was a bastard child that should be shot repeatedly.
That's another episode, not today. We're going to make Sonic fans mad at us today, okay?
Or they're going to love us. You never know.
Or they're going to be like, he right. Like I always have been for years. It's like, yeah, this sucks.
So,
if you heard me last week, because of course you did. I coined myself the ultimate Sonic apologist, but this was actually fun. This is going to be a fun episode because you just get to see how much of a repository of Sonic knowledge I at least tell myself I am.
So I'm the walking JRPG guru. You can literally ask John. Somebody that we work with was like, hey, I think I'm ready for a JRPG. And my spidey sense was tingling. And I'm like, oh? He's like, I want it to be for the Switch. I don't want it to be, too long or anything. So I'm like,
You opened up your trench coat like RE4 merchant style, like, what are you buying?
Yeah. Come into my dark alley. I got your stuff. I got the goods. So honestly, John is that for Sonic. And when you talk about franchises with a very storied history
and a very storied, strong fan base
that can go very, very, very dark places. I'm looking at you, furry universe.
Hey, look, the furries are a wonderful community. It's just the stuff that we showed you. And I say we because another person also knew the dregs of the internet that I grew up around, which we won't discuss here.
Yeah, no, that one is not coming on there. Woo, no.
We'll save that for DLC.
If we shared this with you, it'd be like a Raiders of the Lost Ark moment. Everyone's eyes and face would melt off by looking at it, and you're looking at it through sound.
Does this mean that I'm touched by God because I looked at that and survived? Anyway.
The Sonic God.
Oh, God.
But for Sonic, honestly, like Mario, is one of the most storied franchises out there. The unfortunate part with Sonic is you can visibly see the rise and fall of Sonic. And my hope, honestly, because as much as John has talked about Sonic, as much as I have trolled him with Sonic Heroes.
Stop. And, I want top comment, stop singing. Stop singing that song. And I want it to be from your family.
So as much as I have trolled him with that, I've actually gone back to play some Sonic games. I'm like, you know what? I want to see his viewpoint. I want to see if I can see what he feels and, like actually see what he's talking about. And yeah, like Sonic 1 through 3, that was my main experience along with Sonic and Knuckles. And so I was able to load those back up recently and play those in preparation for talking about this today. And it felt good.
They're solid games. They're great. Like, it's funny because this is just me and my own personal reflection. Before we get into like, history and like, the whole Fallen franchises angle about it is like, they're solid games. They're made well and they deliver on what they're expected to be. And they're just fun to play. Like, it's interesting because a lot of people will look at it and be like, well, what am I doing here? It's like, you're just enjoying the ride, man. Like, it's fun because I've heard other people who've played other types of platforming games and they don't get it. And when I say don't get it, I don't say it in like the hoity-toity, well, you just didn't understand. No, what I'm saying is like, with what you mentioned Mario, and Mario has a very specific control scheme. It has very specific feel, physics, whatever. Like, the game feel of Mario is very itself. People will come into a Sonic game, try to play like it's Mario, but you can't do that. You kind of just have to go along for the ride. And that's what I've always loved about them.
It doesn't take itself seriously in the sense where it's like, I have to completely revamp this. I have to change this. If we look at the first 4 games, it's literally, I started here. I'm going to perfect a little bit more here. I'm going to add a little bit more here. And it was a very purposeful increase in what you could do in the game, in a sense that it kept you engaged. You didn't care about, I want to get a Tanuki suit for my Sonic. I want Sonanuki.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that...
Oh, God, could you imagine Sonic Tanuki?
Yeah, it's in Smash Bros. You get the power-up and you can float.
Oh.
Or like when you get the bunny ears of Sonic and you just run off the stage because you can't handle it.
He's just going super fast. He's like, that next racer's getting too close. Gets in the next lane. Stone Statue Sonic! And just kills him.
It's the scene from Invincible where Mario does the Tanuki stone transformation in front of the bus. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
All those Goombas. Mamma mia. Okay. No,
so I think
we're getting off track already.
There's just so much to talk about. I think to where we can stay on track, I think we got to start from the beginning. We got to start from the original Sonic the Hedgehog, and we got to kind of work our way up. And obviously, you know better than I.
Well, it's funny because I'm trying to think about the format, because if we could just we could just read the Wikipedia. We really just could. But there's a part of me that wants to be like, okay, what do you want to know?
Well, let's start with the franchise's heyday and its meteoric rise to success.
Okay.
I think that's a good starting point for Sonic Heroes.
If they made a sequel, like if they made Sonic Heroes 2, they announced it like tomorrow, because of your constant singing that song, I wouldn't play it. I just wouldn't. I'd be like, well, skipping that one.
John loads up the game, and it's like cue Sonic Heroes theme song, and he's like, calls me up. He's like, hey, so I broke my TV by smashing a remote control through it. Thanks, James.
Also, I'm standing at this cliff edge. Anyway.
No, that's so dark.
Yeah, I know, but that's what Sonic Heroes does to me. No, it's a great game. Anyway, no, so before we get more off track, so yes, the franchise's heyday. So the main thing, Sonic was made to compete with Mario and have Sega have their own mascot, their own like marketable thing that exists. Like, it's interesting to think about how when it came down to character creation, the idea of someone like Mario, and by proxy, like, Donkey Kong, or like anything Nintendo ever developed, they always saw it as like a game delivery system first. They was like, okay, we're going to make a toy. We're going to make a video game. What is the video game? And then they designed around all of those parameters. That's why Mario looks the way he does, why Donkey Kong looks the way he does, why everything ever from Nintendo is the way it is. They think gameplay first, and then they dress it up and package it, right?
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, like the Master System was out for a few years before Sonic was created.
It was actually even more popular until like the Famicom came out. And even in like Europe, like people loved Sega more than Nintendo. Feel free to sound off in the comments. That's not right. We love Nintendo in the UK, you blighter. Anyway.
John and James, bring back the console wars.
They never left. We never quit. But yeah, so it was interesting to think that like, Sega just held like an internal thing where it was just like, hey, design us our mascot. And they got like hundreds of submissions from like, different types of animals, different types of, people, or like, when the idea of Like when Naoto Oshima designed Dr. Robotnik for the first time, he was like, kind of more of a happy character in pajamas with a big mustache, right? And then...
Welcome to Dr. Robotnik's sleepover.
Oh, God.
We play with our eggs.
I made deviled eggs. It's like,
Don't worry, there's a piece of me in all of them.
Oh, God. But, so yeah. They settled on like, a rabbit design or this hedgehog design named Mr. Needlemouse. And they happily, thank God, they picked Mr. Needlemouse, refined his design, and then he became Sonic the Hedgehog, right? And then they were like, okay, so now we have this character, what do we do with it? And that's when they tasked, Yuji Naka and the whole internal team to basically make a new game. And Yuji Naka had like, I have this technology for, fast screen scrolling because our 16-bit technology is just better than just Nintendo, so we're going to make this. And like, okay, green light. And then they made the first Sonic game. It came out and was like a smash hit. And even Sega was just kind of like, this is the greatest game we've ever made. We need to give it away for free. And so it became the new pack-in game, replacing Altered Beast, which was the first pack-in game for the Genesis. And the rest is friggin' history. Dun, 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 dun. And from there, we saw backpacks and shoes and posters and lunchboxes
and underwear and comforters.
But yeah, like, it was made to be a marketing force. It was made to be a mascot, something they could plaster on anything and sell it, right? That's why they had 2 concurrent Saturday morning and weekday cartoon shows. It's why you had, your Sonic brand backpack, which could hold the Game Gear. It's the reason why Sonic exists, and that's at his kind of heart. And the games were good, so it made sense, which was fine. And it started, and we talked about like the forgotten mascots in our previous episode, right? Those all happened because of Sonic.
So when Sonic 1 came out, it was 91, right?
Yes.
So Sonic 1 comes out, I'm 6 years old, and I'm knee deep in Nintendo products, like everything you can imagine. It's Nintendo in my house, because that was my first console. My dad got me into Nintendo. And I remember seeing Sonic, and I was like, Dad, I want to try this. And my dad was like, I don't want to get it, because when it came out initially, it was a little higher price, because it was good.
New. It was new.
Yeah, it was new. Sorry, not good, new.
It was both.
Fair. I had to wait until Sonic and Knuckles came out. Like when that came out in 94, right?
Yes.
So when that came out, my dad got the Sega. I got that. I got Sonic 3, Sonic 2, and Sonic 1.
Damn.
Like my dad was just like, here you go. You've been asking for this for years. Shut up and play.
I just imagine you, little James, just kind of like, playing with your trains or whatever like that. He just drops in front of you like, there you go.
Seriously, you looked like you were about to say like little Jimmy, and I was about to be like, I am offended.
Well, now I have to do that. If you sing Sonic Heroes one more time, I'm going to call you Jimmy from now on.
Gimme, my name is Jimmy.
And podcast over.
But it was a lot of fun. It was, honestly, when I first played Sonic in 94, that was the first time I got to actually play any of them. It was a breath of fresh air. Like, Super Mario World was fun. All the games I had on my Super Nintendo were fun, but Sonic felt different. You remember like going so fast, you just vault off the screen and the game is like struggling to catch up, but it's not really struggling. It makes it feel that way.
Yeah. Well,
that was so much fun. I had never had that. Yeah, with Mario, you could cape glide up.
Yeah.
But it side scrolled so slow. It's like I'm going as fast as I can, and I feel like I'm moving at the speed of Slug.
Well, yeah, that was again more marketing, where it's like, the Genesis has blast processing, the Super Nintendo doesn't. It's like that kind of crap.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Genesis what Nintendo.
Mike Tyson, this is my Sega advertise.
I just came out of Mike Tyson's Punch Out to say I bought a Sega Genesis and it's better.
Mike, if you're listening to this, do not find us and actually no, find John, punch him in the face.
No,
I'm innocent.
No, train me. Let's pick up the motherfucking pace back there.
So I think in speaking with the franchise, honestly, that was the heyday. That was the peak of the mountain. Sonic was everywhere. I even remember like I'm going to school. We had just moved to Illinois, and I literally remember there were
Seeing Sonic as my next door neighbor. It's like, oh my god, you live in Illinois?
Hi, Sonic.
Yeah, hi.
Like, so in my elementary school, like, we're going to the cafeteria. They had Sonic decals for some reason on the cafeteria tables.
That's dope. I want to go to your school as a kid.
I remember, like, I was just like, my mind was blown because, ladies and gentlemen, like, this handsome and alluring face was not always this way. If you ever get to see my childhood photos, I have shown John these. I was a dork. I am talking buck teeth, super thick frame glasses. At one point, in my right mind, I thought it was cool to have a bird on my shoulder in my school photos. It was so bad.
You were literally like Mandark.
Yep.
From Dexter's Lab.
Mandark.
Like, you know, and again, it all comes back to that thing that we both are talking about. It's like he was made to be a marketing vehicle. He was Sega, the brand, as a character. Again, cultural touchstone, like first video game character in a Macy Thanksgiving Day parade, and it popped and hurt 2 people. But
I mean, sign of the times,
yeah,
Sega, you're failing.
And you know, that just actually gave me a really nice memory because I was visiting my my grandmother over Thanksgiving, and we turned on the Thanksgiving Day parade just as we were leaving, and like I knew that the balloon was going to be there because there's a Goku balloon now, which okay, and there's
Hey, don't you be insulting Dragon Ball Z.
No, I'm just like, wow, really? Like, I imagine like the 90-year-olds are like, who's that?
They know who it is because, you know, Master Roshi, all them old perverted men.
Plausible. Anyway, no. The whole point. The point is that we turned on the TV and I was like, hey, maybe we'll see the Sonic balloon. And immediately when we turned it on, we saw that and my mom gave me a hug and I was like, oh my god, it's Sonic, and it gave me this kind of like warm fuzzy feeling. So, yeah, it was. He did exactly what Sega wanted him to do. He was marketable, he had attitude, and they did it. They made punk rock Mickey Mouse. There you go. End of the episode. Punk rock Mickey Mouse. That's all you need.
I think that's fair. Honestly, like I think that's a really good point where we can now, unfortunately, start transitioning into the "what the fuck are you doing" Sonic part of his franchise.
This is where I'm going to kind of spearhead the conversation, okay? Because there was a huge gap. Which was interesting about Sega was that they were basically the devil may care, we'll just throw things at the wall, see what sticks, of any developer, publisher, whatever. They were the first to break out like with CD technology, 32X, and they had actual like their branches in America and Japan actually developed different things at different times concurrently, and they operated autonomously, which is insane to think about, especially if you're like a Nintendo fan, where you're just like, yeah, Nintendo of America is basically the little brother of Nintendo Japan, and they don't get to do anything.
I mean, I remember back in the day because I was so hyped. 32X is coming out, and then immediately, oh hey, look, get ready for the Sega Saturn. And
even like Ted Kalinske or whatever, he's just like, it made us look greedy and stupid. This was a dumb decision.
Like, I feel bad because Sega kept shooting like
Tom Kalinske. I'm stupid. Sorry. Go on.
Oh my goodness.
In case he's listening too, if he and Mike are listening together.
Fuck you, John. Get my name right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go punch the dude. You want to come with, Tom?
But like Sega started to shoot themselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
So with the console wars, as things are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I think Sega of Japan, it felt like their focus was still in the past. Their focus was, hey, this is good, just keep doing this. And they kind of shoehorned Sega of America into that 32X bullshit of a system.
Well, yeah, because again, the entire reason that STI and Sega of America existed was to keep the Genesis alive, because the Genesis was their best-selling console of all time. And when you say shoot themselves in the foot, I think about how, again, their rush to innovate and just put product out in the environment. So it's like, okay, so you have the Genesis, you have the Sega CD, you have the 32X, you have Game Gear, you have the Master System, you have the Pico, which was an educational software thing. All this stuff. And then you're going to say, oh, by the way, the Saturn's here too. It's like, what?
They almost... So at this time, Nintendo's transitioned over to the 64. At this time, Sony PlayStation's come out.
Yep.
And the Genesis no matter how you look at it, Genesis, even with the 32X, cannot compete with that. They cannot hold up. It's all gimmick.
Right.
So
again, it was made to life support the Genesis because so many people had Genesises. Genocide?
Genocide.
Whatever. It sounds like genocide. I don't want to say that. But no, anyway, like I don't mean to cut you off, but like I talk fast and I'm interested in this because it's interesting to me. Like it's just so like, yeah, I remember being there when it happened because the safest bet for anyone would be Sega Saturn, 32X, Sega CD. Those are all out. So okay, what do? How about we make another Sonic platformer? But they didn't do that. So
that's when we got what? Sonic 3D Blast, right?
that was developed by Traveler's Tales, which was a UK company. And yeah, that's when they experimented with the whole isometric thing. Could you imagine back in the day, and I'm not talking about Mario's Time Machine or even the Philips CDI, but the moment, could you imagine Shigeru Miyamoto himself handing Mario and Zelda to you make something? Oh, wow. That'd be, they did that and it was terrible, but whatever.
Yo, could you imagine a Metal Max Xeno meets Mario?
Who? You mean Mighty Max?
No. So Metal Max Xeno, it's a JRPG that, so it's a super obscure series. Came out. We only got 2 games from Japan. We got Metal Saga back on the PS2.
I remember that.
And then Metal Max Xeno. But it's this barren wasteland of a world where you get tanks. Humanity's almost dead. But instead it's Metal Max Mario. You see him with this eye patch. His face is scarred.
Save that for fan art, bro.
It's the darker times. I pilot my tank and I fucking kill my brother because Luigi's a little cockasucker.
I can't believe you killed me, Mario. Why? No, we'll save that for Shadow the Hedgehog conversation. But so again, it came down to because that was a messy generation. The 64 PlayStation and the Saturn era was messy for a lot of people because with the Genesis and the Super Nintendo and even whatever else came out then, the PC and whatever. Mm-hmm. That was basically taking okay, so we have this old technology, let's do the same thing but better. Now we're transitioning to 3D, so how do we make Mario in 3D? How do we make Sonic in 3D? And unfortunately, the answer was, hey, we'll do this, and then Nintendo of Japan just basically said, nope, scrap it, throw it out, screw it. We'll put Sonic 3D Blast on the Saturn, and that will be the game. And then they made Sonic R, and I'm like, ugh.
At that point, you had Sonic 3D Blast or Mario 64. Which one are you gonna lean towards?
Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, that was a very tumultuous, troubling time. And the cool thing is that this series is called Fallen Franchises, so there isn't a fall without a rise. That's when the Dreamcast started cooking. That's when Sonic Team started cooking up Sonic Adventure.
And so when he mentioned Sonic Adventure, 3D Blast was so not well received. That was
it?
So think about it.
Because I remember liking it because, I was a kid, but...
We have to take your kid goggles off. We'll put my kid goggles on.
Uh-huh.
I saw 3D Blast, and I hated it upon looking at it.
Wow.
I was coming off the high of I had finally done Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles with 1, 2, and 3, and it was awesome. And then I remember 3D Blast. It just felt disjointed. It felt nothing like it. Like Bomberman Act Zero, for crying out loud, that we mentioned in the last episode. That's how, for me, disjointed 3D Blast felt.
It was different, and that was the problem. Because when you establish something as well renowned as a Sonic franchise, a lot of people want you to stay the same. But again, as in this new era of people were obsessed with 3D and 3D graphics and polygons, you can't. So what do you do? If they put out, again, I said the safe bet was to make if they put out a really dope 2D Sonic game on the Saturn, people would have loved it. They would have said, well, it doesn't innovate much, but who cares? It's fun.
And then Sonic Adventure comes around, as John had mentioned, because that was it came out
1998 in Japan and 1999 in America.
That game kind of it stopped the decline of Sonic. And it actually started to come back again. Sonic Adventure, I remember seeing my friend who had a Dreamcast. I remember seeing him play it, and I was like, yo, this looks really cool. Wait, this is Sonic? What?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of fun. I ended up playing a few hours. So at this time frame, I'm still knee deep in my Final Fantasy PlayStation 1. I think I sunk almost 900 hours into Final Fantasy Tactics.
Do you need a hug? Like, what do you need? God.
If that gets remastered, thanks for
I
playing.
will never see you again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the podcast has unfortunately had to cancel because James is nowhere to be seen. He has his needle in his arm, and it is Final Fantasy Tactics. May God have mercy on his soul.
You talk about me standing at a cliff edge being dark. That's dark. Jesus.
But, like, it pulled me away from Tactics, and I'm telling you, like, my goal in Tactics was my whole party had every single job mastered. That's insanity. Fucking insanity. And
my co-host, ladies and gentlemen.
Grind away. I might be Korean.
You know, hold on. Let me do that 23andMe. But your
no.
response to Sonic Adventure was kind of as visceral, seemingly, as mine was. I don't know, because I got to tell a personal story now. So the Dreamcast came out in Japan before it came out in America. It came out in 1998, right? I remember I went to a local game store. Well, it was Game Crazy, right? Attached to like a Hollywood Video.
Mm-hmm.
There were these things back in the day called rental stores, and you used to go there and rent movies and video games. Children. But anyway, the manager at this Game Crazy, he had an imported Dreamcast with a bunch of Japanese games. And I remember, I think it was even before 1990. I think it was like January of 1999, before I even knew the Dreamcast existed. Because, you know, granted, I had like EGM and stuff like that. It's like, you know, Sega's working on something. It's like, well, what is it? And then I just go to a store and see it for the first time ever. Like, what's that? And I see 3D Sonic running around through Emerald Coast and all these things and go through loop-de-loops and going super fast, and I got to play it.
Did you have the South Park moment where Cartman wants to get
The Wii? Oh, God. If I could have done that, it actually would have been preferable because I was in like 4th or 5th grade. I think it was in 5th grade. And I remember because that was within like January. So I saw this thing, this marvelous, wonderful thing that's like, you know, it exists and it's coming to America in September. And I'm just like, I remember it being like before summer vacation, and I was sat in school, and I just thought about how long I still had to wait to get my Dreamcast, and I cried. I sat in my friggin' chair.
You were Cartman.
And cried. It was just like, this thing I want is so far away, and I need it.
Now all I imagine, Mom!
No, and I've done that before as a kid with like certain video games, but yeah, like I remember just, again, it was that visceral reaction. It was like, you know,
Absolutely.
how do we do this in 3D? It's like, well, apparently like that. And it worked, and it, you know, the Dreamcast like spiked in sales, went crazy popular, the hype was real. And just as soon as all that came up, it came crashing down. And I know we're kind of going into basically more of like a history of Sega at the same time as we're talking about Sonic. But yeah, they're synonymous.
Well, they go hand in hand up to the point Nintendo gains all rights. When you think about it, Sonic's future.
Do you know something I don't? Because they do not have the rights to Sonic.
Okay, fair. Sorry, not the rights to Sonic, but once they started,
we were about to fight.
Look, once Sonic started to be released on Nintendo. Sorry, I will errat my statement.
See, yeah, and keep going. I have something to say.
But Sonic, like Sega, was tied synonymously to Sonic. If Sonic was failing, Sega was failing. If Sonic was successful, Sega was successful. And, I mean, you had Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2. Dreamcast is still doing pretty well with Sonic Adventure 2. But then you're having the Dreamcast has to be in the same vein as your Xbox, as your PS2, as your GameCube. And unfortunately, Sega had burnt a lot of bridges with consumers, with developers, with everyone, that Sonic alone couldn't carry it anymore.
And what's funny about that is I remember that kind of culture, right? Mm-hmm. Like where you as a console manufacturer was basically like, so the Saturn failed for a lot of reasons because its architecture was just so dissimilar to something that was easy to program for. And I say easy because whatever, pioneering, smart people, whatever.
Well, let's be real. It failed because America did not get Sega de Sanchero.
Fuck, you're right. Yeah, it was super popular in Japan. I mean, before the nerds come at me for that, like, I know my shit. Like, yeah. It just wasn't big in America because there was no flagship thing to make the Saturn big in America.
That ad campaign single-handedly brought it back from just a total loss in Japan because of one man and his weakness against club zombies.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting also as we talk about how like markets are so different. Like America and Europe and like the Western world versus all of Asia are so different when it comes to what things work for them, what sells them on stuff,
Oh, absolutely.
even what games they play. Because the Saturn was popular in Japan because of Virtua Fighter. Like that was it. Like the 3D fighter that Sega made, they pioneered. Again, Sega, they pioneered so much wonderful technology, like the first ever like 3D polygon fighting game and all this cool stuff. And people don't really. They still hold them in this weird esteem because of how synonymous they made Sonic with Sega. Where it's like, well, Sonic games suck, so Sega is just a shit company. It's like, well, no.
I mean, they were hand in hand up until the Dreamcast, and then like we were talking about, because we tangent a lot, folks, and it's awesome. So hopefully you can follow our weird quagmire of tangents.
I like the idea of our conversations actually laid out like a roadmap, and it's just like, turn it the spoon in the road.
Oh God. Hey, have you ever heard of the Labyrinth? Yeah, it's John and James's Conversations.
Ever heard of Labyrinth Zone? It's in Sonic 1. It's great. No, it's not. It's water level.
But no, like the Dreamcast just couldn't compete. And at that point, after Sonic Adventure 2 was, as you know, I'm gonna do it.
It's the swan song.
Sonic Heroes.
More like Sonic Avengers at this point.
But that came out on the GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and the Xbox.
I want to preface something first. So,
absolutely.
When the Dreamcast officially kind of died, and I feel like I need to have my gamer card checked every time I talk about this because I do know my shit. Sega was in really dire straits because of the Dreamcast, right? Like when the PS2 came out and DVD technology was the way of the future, and Sony spearheaded that because the PS2 not only can it play PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games, it can also watch The Matrix. What? And then
the fact that you had the cheapest DVD player in the world in a PlayStation 2 at the time spoke volumes.
Yep, Sony, they convinced people like, hey, don't get the Dreamcast, just wait a little longer and you'll get something even better. Debatable. Because another thing that was this is a tangent I'm just going to happily go on, but Sega Sports?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that blows my mind because EA didn't want to support Sega anymore because they weren't getting like some type of deal, some kickback money or something. Because sports games were synonymous with Sega for a long time. They were like the teen adult console, played all the sports games, played all the edgier games, whatever.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
I'm gonna cut this here.
Leave it. I have left everything in this podcast. Every time you are praying I cut something, no. You have to leave it in there so they can know I sound a little bit goofy.
We gotta hurry and get, out of this podcast recording because I gotta go to the doctor. I gotta get my penis in small mint.
Oh my fucking God. Wow.
See, good thing I'm editing this one. Anyway.
Oh.
So Sega Sports, right? It goes to show just what publishers, developers, companies did back then because, EA's not going to make our sports game? Fine, we'll make our own, and they're going to be better. Because Sega Sports came out with the 2K franchise, which is still continuing today. It blows my mind that they basically just said, hey, Madden, you suck, ESPN, licensed football, 2K6 or whatever, here it is. And people were like, we need to sign an exclusivity contract to make sure that they don't get to make better games than us. What the... Could you imagine something like that happening now? Like, could you imagine if a company came out and basically just said, like, we're going to make better Halo, and Microsoft's like, fuck you will.
That would be amazing because not only would we get a potentially better Halo, quote unquote, but then we would get Microsoft's counter, which would probably be, we can't even
Super
look at
Halo.
it. It's just like heaven sent us this video game.
Yep.
But
when companies compete, you win. I think that's an ad campaign.
So you have once Sonic makes the transition to every other console because the Dreamcast falls away, that's when I think we start seeing a steep decline. So,
well, what's funny is that we tangented so hard that I didn't actually say the point I was going to make. So what happened was when the Dreamcast died and Mr. Okawa, the former president of Sega, basically left Sega all their shares because they were going to go bankrupt. And then he unfortunately passed away afterward due to cancer, I believe. They were like, okay, we're going to go multi-platform. So what do we do? And that's when like Sega themselves approached Nintendo and said, hey, we'll put Sonic on your platform. Like biggest competitors on the planet. Let's play nice now. And that's how we got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. That's how we got Sonic Heroes, Sonic Adventure Director's Cut.
Don't forget Sonic Advance 1, 2, 3.
Yep, made by DIMS, which is former SNK employees. All my favorite companies went through Sonic. That's awesome.
And don't forget Sonic Rush.
Also made by DIMS. So good. Good games.
His Sonic boner is hard, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta get to that penis in this moment, man. That's a callback to a joke I cut out.
Oh, man.
So when you say the dark times, like, what would you say were like the decline then?
So
because I'm pretty sure I can deliver a measured response back to be like, okay, well, this is why that is.
So it's a decline in essence of the spirit of what Sonic is. So once the Dreamcast went away, as you know, Sonic Advance started in 2001. The last one came out in 2004. We had Sonic Heroes for the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, the GameCube. In 2005, we got Shadow the Hedgehog, right?
Yep. We're skipping over so much history.
Well, you asked me when the decline happened. So if you look at that, once they made the jump to the biggest competitor, you could feel the difference in Sonic of the competitor versus Sonic the peer. You could feel that difference. Like Sonic Advance, it's not a bad game, but
it's the Super Nintendo Sonic game. That's how I see it.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But it feels kind of dirty to play. If you're if you're a true Sonic fan, you appreciate the fact that Sonic didn't have to go the way of the wind, and Sega was smart enough to be like, hey, cool, we'll take royalties, license fees, blah, 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 whatever Sega took in order to get it over there. Like, you appreciate the ingenuity to do that because they're like, cool, our console may be failing, we're going to flood everything with...
Our tendrils are going to, expand into everything.
Hentai turned into Sega.
It is a Japanese company.
Hey-o!
And they pay
Sega tentacle porn.
These days they make so much money from Hatsune Miku, I'd imagine, that they don't need to make anything ever again.
So I think with where I was going with that, like, you definitely felt a fall from grace on a Nintendo console. That doesn't necessarily mean the games were bad.
It just felt different.
The different didn't feel good because it felt... I think the best way to quantify it is it felt like Sonic was kind of abandoned.
He didn't have a home.
And as you know, back then, if you didn't have a home, unless you were Soul Calibur 2, it was sad. It'd be like Ratchet and Clank going to, like, literally going over to Nintendo.
That would be weird. It would feel weird. Or like... Because everything's getting ported to the Switch. It's like when you see Crash Bandicoot on Switch. It's like, okay, nowadays I'm an adult and I have more things to kind of think about, so that doesn't bother me as much. But if I was a kid, it would have blown my mind.
I tried playing that on the Switch, and I couldn't. Like, it felt wrong.
It felt dirty. It also felt slow because of Switches.
Yeah, but I think we could actually start, because you had made mention of this, actually, when you had talked about a little bit of the story and depth of the game. When Sonic Unleashed came out, I think
We're skipping over so much.
Okay, well, you are allowed to go back, but okay. I will end my point on Sonic Unleashed. I think Sonic Unleashed was where we started to see the rise back a little bit, and he kind of got some of his Sonic swagger back.
I have a lot I can say about Unleashed, but I do want to backpedal just a little bit, because, again... Rewind! The replay in the middle of an episode. What? No, it's... Again, you're making me tangent and making me lose my train of thought here. But when it comes down to that transition to the multi-platform status, when you see Sonic Heroes, it says, like, Sonic makes his Xbox debut. Again, it's talking out of two sides of your mouth with Sega. Because it's the marketing where it's like, Sonic's so fast, he's going to run on every console. We still make fun things. Trust us. Get happy. Buy the Happy Meal that has Sonic games in it. And then in the background, in the development studios, just like, okay, what the fuck do we do? Like, because that's how, and what's funny is it's so synonymous with his just creation in essence as a character, where like they made this mascot. It's like, okay, so what do we do with him? Well, what if he runs fast? I have this new technology where people can run fast. Beautiful. Love it. Like, that's how it happens. When 3D came out, it was the same thing. It's like, well, how do we make it in 3D? Well, how about we try this? Okay, that works. Again, throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks. That has been the essence of Sonic games after the initial run through. And even when it went multi-platform, they were like, how do we develop for 3 completely different systems at the same time? 4 completely different systems at the same time. Like, how do we do this? What, 5?
Game Boy Advance, DS, PS2, GameCube, Xbox.
I'm talking about the main Sonic team, like the people who...
Okay, fair.
Because, like, you can have... Like, I mentioned Dimps was a company. They made the Sonic Advance franchise and the Rush franchise. They were handling that, right? Mainline Sonic Teams USA, Japan, whoever. They were the ones making the big-ticket mainline, slap Sonic the Hedgehog proper on the box, those games. So, again, how do you develop for the PS2, the GameCube, and the Xbox at the same time? And they actually made that choice, and you see the struggle with it, where it's like, okay, what if we make the levels really flat and the textures aren't as good or the models aren't as good so it can, keep a steady 30 or 60 on the PS2, whatever. And even to the point where, and this gives a super shout out again to Game Grumps when they played Sonic Heroes on their channel, they actually got a note from a QA tester who, worked on the game, and they said, because of the nature of that kind of development, and they were first, big ticket multi-platform game, when it came down to bug checking, they were like, as long as people can brute force through the levels, it's fine. Just make it happen. That kind of development is nowhere near as similar as someone who takes the time to polish and craft and fine-tune a game like Nintendo.
So, as you know, I said I feel the decline started to happen when it went multi-platform, when it went over to Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to quantify and say this is when the decline happened, what is your moment you saw the fall of the franchise?
For as much as, again, I am the ultimate Sonic apologist and how much I have played this game and loved it, it was Sonic 06. It was...
Elaborate.
It was when another discussion was had where it's like, okay, the new consoles are coming out, the PS3, the Xbox 360, and Nintendo's going to do whatever the hell they do. What are we going to do? And Sonic's 15th anniversary is coming up, so the deadline can't move. We have to put it out in 2006. Big mistake. That's when, the directors and Yuji Naka left the company and all sorts of fallouts happened, and the deadline couldn't change because they made an exclusivity or some type of marketing push with Microsoft, and all this stuff happened, and it released in this janky, buggy mess that I loved as a kid, which I fully recognize, yes, I see why people do not like this. Even I see why I'm like, this sucks.
I like this game, and I hate this game.
And again, the same thing happened, where it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Well, Dave over there made we just licensed the Havoc physics engine and we're making a 3D game that, can use physics stuff. Okay, we'll throw that in there. And that's how you got Silver the Hedgehog. It's like they had the mechanics and then they slapped the hedgehog on it.
So you got a Shadow, Hot Topic, and Edgy, and then you got Silver. I'm just like this weird
Silver is the
Silver
nebbishy
man.
little shit from the future who's even in the character Bible for Silver, he's basically think Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, but I don't know.
But douchey?
Yeah.
So instead of Silver, can we call him Douchey the Hedgehog?
If you Google search Douchey the Hedgehog, I'm sure you'll find fan art.
No, stop.
You know what? In
this
fact,
is another thing with the Sonic universe.
I invite everyone listening to this podcast right now, take your first name, go to Google, and type your name, the Hedgehog. See what you find.
What did you find on yours?
I don't remember. I need to do it again, so I get to play along with all of you. In fact, you know what? I'll do it right now.
What the hell is this? So
you hear me typing, y'all. I'm actually doing it.
Literally, as he was like, "Hey, do this," I'm like, "You know what? Sure, why not? I will."
Google suggestions: Jean Baptiste Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, I thought it said Jean Baptiste the Hedgehog. I'm sorry.
What is this, John? This is like edgelord.
He's hot.
Oh no! You and your damn furries.
Wait, okay, I got a picture of JonTron in a Sailor Moon outfit. That's not what I wanted. Apparently, just
And John is like intently staring at the screen. So
It looks like
I did
it's a blue hedgehog in like a pilot outfit, and a snake or like a frog is biting what I assume is his. Oh, it's his leg. I thought it was his like massive penis.
Jesus Christ, man. So my hedgehog is emo, douchey, flipping somebody off while his hand is down. He's got his hair over his eye, like, sup, man. Yeah, no, okay.
Yo, this one's actually kind of cool. Jonathan the Hedgehog.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another reason for the fall of the franchise. Fan art.
Is John Wall a basketball player or something?
Yes, John Wall is a basketball player.
I found John Wall the Hedgehog.
Oh my god.
Does he know? He has to know. He should know now.
Find his email. Like, he's got to have a business contact somewhere and email it to him and be like, this is what I think of you in Sonic Land.
I think I've captured your essence.
Oh. So
Mike Tyson's going to punch me, and then he's going to punch me too. Also, oh wow. I'm not going to talk about that on the stream.
All right, I'm not going to let him tangent anymore because this is disturbing.
This will hurt us. It won't hurt our ratings, but...
So... You just mentioned where you felt the fall was.
Yeah.
And you know where mine feels. I feel at the advent of Sonic Unleashed and moving forward with like Mario versus Sonic at like the Olympic Games, which is obviously like
that blew my mind.
It's a very simple concept, and it was done very well in my opinion. It's gotten a little too iterative, and like the newest one was kind of shit.
It's like they hold an Olympics every 2 years.
But I think we started to see the rise of the franchise again with Sonic Unleashed. I think that was the first game where Sonic got some of his own independent character back.
I mentioned it earlier in the show. There's a lot I can say on Unleashed. And I'm glad that sentiment carries with you. To everyone else, they just saw Werehog.
You like how I'm the one keeping him on track for this episode, guys?
Well, because if you just let me... I gotta talk fast.
No. He doesn't want to talk fast. He wants to rabbit hole with everyone on what he found on his computer.
Hey, James, you want to know Sonic's Christian name?
No. No.
You want to know the name his mother calls him? Because I know that. I like how my impression of me is even hotter. Anyway.
It's okay. I'll always keep him in line with these two words. Sonic Heroes.
And back to reality. Okay, so Sonic Unleashed, right? I
just pop your bubble.
Yep. But to me, that was the last game that also felt like the most genuine when it comes to Sonic as a character. And there's a lot of ways to explore that, and I'm sure not a lot of people want me to hear me deep dive into like, oh, the characters of Sonic and who he is as a character and stuff. I'm not going to do that, but like, that was the last game that felt headed up by people who had some type of renown, or at least some type of, I guess the word renown will be right, some esteem for him as more than just a mascot. And you see it in the cutscenes, you see it in the dialogue, and, you know, to some people you see it in the gameplay. But that was the last one before we got Sonic Colors. And that was another key transition, because with Sonic Colors, they let the people who wrote Happy Tree Friends and Mad World write Sonic. And that's when Sonic went from kind of like whatever you think about him, the Hedgehog, to, yeah, I know I'm lame.
Even in recent times, Sonic Forces, Sonic Mania, like, we've seen Sonic run the gamut. And I think where we can end the miniseries, or the first episode of our miniseries, we actually...
Miniseries over, one episode.
We actually have a Sonic game to look forward to next year.
We do.
Sonic Frontiers.
I'm excited. And the reason why I'm excited is because I recently another shout out to another YouTuber, Matt McMuscles. He does a show called What Happened. And he basically deep dives into why games or systems or developers turned out the way they did. And he recently did an episode on Sonic Forces. Now, according to legend, Sonic Forces came out after like the failed reboot of Sonic Boom and all this kind of Wii U soft locking, like Sonic Lost World experimentation, stuff on the Wii U, whatever, right? Again, it was a technology question. What are we going to do? So they thought they as the nebulous, like, Sonic developing people. Sonic Team, I assume. I don't know if it's Sonic Team anymore. But they were like, okay, what we can do, let's refine the Hedgehog engine. That was the engine that powered Sonic Unleashed, and we used it for a lot of stuff, right? What if we just polish that, refine that, get the technology up to scratch so it matches with the PS4, the Xbox One, PCs, whatever, and we'll see what we can develop with that. And the development time, reportedly, although this might be a mistranslation, was 1 year long, and that's how we got Sonic Forces, the 4-hour what the hell is happening game. To the point where they even felt like the writing had gotten stilted because they don't want the kid-friendly, Candyland Sonic anymore.
Sonic playing Candyland, he'd just be cheating. Oh, look, this is one color? Yeah, no, I'm going to go all the way to the end. Pew!
No, he'd just take the game piece and go, I win!
I can only land on blue. Blue, 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 blue.
I like how we just imagine Sonic as like a coke addict.
I
mean that's how they kind of wrote him in the past couple of years, but whatever.
Well, I mean, for as fast as he's going, he definitely has to be on some kind of drugs to maintain that, because his brain is probably jargled.
He ate too many Happy Meals.
I'm Sonic! Oh, no. I broke John.
No, I'm just imagining another, like, fanfic where it's just like, Sonic's intervention. Look, you're eating too many chili dogs. The nitrates are going to kill you.
Sonic, you have to give up going fast.
No.
Get a day job.
I want to go fast.
You're going to be an accountant.
Let me crunch those numbers. Let's go. No. Anyway. All right, we're doing this again. You're doing it to me now. So Sonic Forces, they were like, what do we do? Well, we could do anything. And that's when you hear, again, like this talking out of the one side of the mouth again with Sega, and even the person who is at the helm of the franchise, Izuka-san, hello, if you're listening.
Ohio!
I was going to say, damn it, how do you say sorry? Gomen nasai. There we go. He was like, well, when we came to developing this game, we just put out Sonic Mania, and that was like a classic game. And as we looked at this one, we were like, well, most fans are probably fans of like the 3D Sonic games that came out pretty recently, but there's also fans of the Mega Drive, and there's also fans of and he mentioned all this stuff. It's like, we're going to make a game that appeals to every Sonic fan, and I'm just like, you can't do that.
So you can't make a comment like that either, because when you think about it, that was what Forces came out in 2017?
Yes.
So in 2017, we were seeing a huge uptick in the indie style, RPG-ish style games, right?
We were seeing a rise in just indies, period, no matter what the genre.
But like, look at the graphical regression, but with polish, right? Like Octopath Traveler is HD 2D graphics, right?
Sure.
Amazing. And because of it, Dragon Quest III Remake is HD 2D. Project Triangle Strategy, HD, like that, HD 2D. So you have to realize, like, hey, we can keep it going this way. So I think, personally, with Frontiers, I'm optimistically, cautiously excited, because I will give it a shot. At least for you, because you are mega diehard Sonic. You got blue bleeding in your blood.
Mm-hmm. Blue blood for sure.
Blue bleeding in your blood.
Ew. That means internal bleeding. I'm not going to die. I have to cancel my penis installment.
Oh, I'll die for you, Sonic. But
like, get the lighter under that spoon. Anyway,
you honestly have to realize that at this point in time, I can take my franchise. You can take it any way. You're absolutely right. I mean, fuck, in 2019, we got Team Sonic Racing.
Yeah, and that was again, another game not made by freaking, Sonic Team proper. It was made by Sumo Digital, who also did the previous racing games. Again, another thing, Sonic as a character, he's in everything. Put him in a kart racer, but he's so fast. Why doesn't he just drive a car? Why does he drive a car at all? It's like, shut up and play the fun game.
So you gotta, at this point, mainline Sonic Team needs to realize we can 2D to success. Sonic Mania.
It's a formula. It's a winning formula, period.
Like, arguably the best Sonic game created in recent memory.
Yeah, a lot of people would agree with that.
You can go the 3D route, but you have to... This is where I think you need to delve into my expertise, JRPGs. You need to look at a very good story. You look at a very story-driven JRPG. We'll go back in time a little bit. Xenogears. Impeccable story. Disc 2 sucked ass because the whole team left, and it was just literally walking on black, talking, boss fight, walking on black, talking, boss fight.
Oh, so the end of Earthbound. Ho-ho!
It was like they just ran out of money and developers left. Like, if Disc 2 had been fully in there, best JRPG ever.
Yeah, well-
Like, it would have beat Chrono Trigger. Like, you give us a story like that with Sonic, because at this point, he's been around since 91. That's 30 years of history.
Mhm.
That's 30 years of comics, of TV shows, of movies, both live action and animated. Sonic has proven through his TV shows he can be more than just the guy that goes fast.
It's proven through everything and even the games. Like,
So,
I was going to touch on something really quick.
oh, absolutely.
Because Sonic Forces, again, for as much as I played it and enjoyed it, but even as I was playing it, it reeked of a lack of direction. It reeked of a lack of someone trying to take the helm and say, no, this is what we need to make.
It's the good idea fairy gone wrong.
Yeah, and you understand why that I always have the sentiment that, like, you can always develop a better game in your head, or you see the potential of something and love it for what it could have been versus what it actually is.
Well, yeah, you look at a game like that and it's like, holy fuck, hold my beer. I'll be right back.
You said Xenogears, and it's like, oh yeah, the disc 2, that sucked. If it was made the way it should have been, it would have been great. Yeah, that's what a lot of Sonic games feel like.
So I think at this point, like, I'm excited to see what Frontiers has to offer.
I am too, and the reason why I'm a bit more overtly optimistic is not just because I'm a fan, but it's the amount of time. 2017 to now, that's 5 years, and that's a lot of quiet, and it's a lot of finally hearing Izuka-san say, like, we have taken the time, and we feel like this is going to be the game that basically is the landmark that Sonic Adventure was when that came out. And again, could just be marketing, because they've done that before, when they said Shadow was a unique original character, and everyone...
False promise, false promise, false promise, under-deliver. That is the Sega motto. Go!
Bullshit, they're good company. We'll talk about Sega later.
For a good Sonic game that's going to be in the 3D vein, it needs more time than a year, needs more time than 2 years. 3 years, maybe, but 5 years in development, generally a good sign if you plan on releasing. Now, it could also be a bad sign, because look how long Final Fantasy VII Remake was teased. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this.
Well, like, yeah, but that's another marketing push, right? Like, the reason that they announce games or say, like, oh yeah, we're working on it, is to make sure that their investors know, like, you're going to still make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced way, way before it should have been. And the same thing with Cyberpunk. It was announced in, like, 2012. Think about it. 8 years? Really?
Look at...
Is that true? I don't know. Because I think
I think it was a little longer. Actually, no, you just sparked a good idea in my head. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Okay.
It's literally Dragon Ball as a JRPG, but with Dragon Ball fighting. And you actually get to do the entire story progression of Goku from the Saiyan Saga all the way to the DLC with the Battle of the Gods Saga.
Neat.
Dragon Ball has never truly been done like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so successful. It got re-released on the Switch. Like, it's still relevant. There's potential DLC coming out for it. Sonic could do that in theory. If you look at, you could do the story from Sonic 1 through Sonic Adventure 2 to start off, right? And that gives us, we're taught just only one, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 before you're wrapping your head around it. Sonic Adventure 1, 2, Sonic 1, 2, 3, and
I'm doing
Sonic
all the
and
math
Knuckles.
I'm doing all the math in my head right now.
So 6 games for story. And you could introduce Dr. Robotnik properly. You could introduce Tails properly. You could introduce Knuckles properly. And you could develop him as a character, because in each game there was progression. In each game there was a little bit more developed to Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a story that makes sense. Don't give him a fucking sword like Sonic and the Black Knight.
Don't make me talk about that game, because I'll defend it too.
No, I am keeping you in check, sir. But
it's a solid idea. What you're proposing is a solid idea.
Sonic has proven he's not going anywhere after 30 years. All he's missing is a truly narrative-driven game that still keeps the element of enjoyment of Sonic. And if you did that, and you gave Sonic character and substance beyond chili dogs, and I'm lame, and I'm kind of kooky.
And follow my Twitter.
Like, if you gave him more character, just imagine how much more vested all Sonic fan base would be.
What you're basically proposing is to someone have actual control, creative control over a character and not just the helm of like a mascot, right?
Yeah. Like the world has evolved to the point like so Final Fantasy VII Remake sold a shit ton of copies. Still is selling a shit ton of copies. You know what they're not giving a fuck about? Merchandise, t-shirt sales, toy sales, lunchbox sales, little Jimmy's underwear sales. Like, they don't care about that. If you stop worrying about all the peripheral sales, you can focus on what keeps a game good. Because if your game is literally, yeah, play this, but buy these 15 fucking other things, you're stupid. You're stupid. You're so stupid, you make stupid not stupid.
I'm going to say something not stupid. What you're basically proposing, and it's a good idea, like seeing that polished and actually put together competently would be great. The only flip side of that is, as someone who has played this franchise forever, they have done that and proven they can do that countless times with things like Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, with even Sonic 06 or Shadow the Hedgehog, with the Sonic Heroes, with anything, like with even Sonic Unleashed or Sonic Colors or anything. And the tones can shift rapidly between those and deliver on those in very key ways. For me, what I think is crucial, and this also goes back to basically the whole crux of our show, you push story and character. Me, I push gameplay and mechanics. If you're going to push technology, if you're going to have something operate in this world that you create based on your technology and what you do, maybe look to a Super Mario 64. They spent forever making moving in a 3D world feel fun. They made that core engagement, just being a character in a world, fun, and then they built the game around it. They designed the more fun around it. So if your central experience, just being a character in a world, doing anything is fun, running fast, jumping high, going over hills and mountains, collecting rings, whatever, if that core engagement is fun, you will have a good game no matter what. And we haven't seen anything about it. We don't know anything about it. We only have a teaser trailer. If that is at its core of this game, I think that is when we'll see that kind of recaptured light.
And
I am exhausted.
John over here is like, all of my energy is gone. It left through my nipples.
I woke up at like 2 o'clock this morning to be like, what?
Why are you leaving through my nipples?
Night terrors, why?
Night nipples.
Those can be good or bad depending on your viewpoint.
But I think that's a good idea that we can end this on. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been, episode 1 of our mini-series. Ironically, it's also episode 8 of the podcast.
Episode 1 of Fallen Franchises. Not clickbaity at all.
So I think Sonic is in a place he can potentially recapture some of his glory. Because nostalgia craze is here. It is a hell of a drug. The retro craze is here.
Sonic Mania. Anyway.
He sang!
Oh, God.
So I'm optimistic to see where Sonic could potentially go. And honestly, I know John would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you on your thoughts about Sonic. So as always, you can find us on Instagram at Games with John and James, Facebook the same way. We're on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast now. That actually finally came through, by the way. They just took forever.
Well, hey,
Google, thanks for taking your time.
Okay, Google. Play Games with John and James. That information is not available.
Who is John and James?
Fuck you. I would love to hear Google or Alexa just be like, fuck you.
But, oh my God. Sorry.
Show your mom this show. Show it to your children. Fuck you.
Did you mean porn with John and James? No, Alexa, no.
No, playing now.
Oh man. But
endless loop.
Oh, God, stop.
Like loops, like Sonic. Hey, we all tied it together. But yeah, let us know across all the socials. You know where to find us at. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe Sonic was always shit, and we can fight about it. I don't know. Let's do it.
So, with that, everybody.
I'm John.
And I'm James.
And this was Games with John and James.
And our outro song is finally going to be the one that I've been waiting for all this time, and I have to talk really fast because you need to understand that he's finally going to put Sonic Heroes as our outro song.
What goes up? Hey, Fallen Franchises, that is our theme song. What goes up must come down. Oh my god!
Big brain him.
All right, song playing now. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya. Sonic Heroes.
Peace.